I've been blown up. I've been burned, flipped over in cars, overdosed on alcohol 1, 2, 3, I don't know how many times. There are so many times when I should have been dead that there's no way that I'm possibly breathing right now in order to deliver this message to you. It's in part with the daily reflections, but we're not going to spin it that way. The way I'm going to tell you is, this is how I came to believe in something greater than myself and had the ability to be able to turn my life and my will over to the care of my God as I understand him. Now that might have already thrown you off, folks, but look, if you've already should have been dead a couple times, perhaps this is going to trick a bell in your brain to where you're like, holy crap, that's me. And that's what we're going to talk about, folks. If you want to hear a little more, stay tuned because we're about to dive into it. Ready? Let's go. All right, first things first. What do you think about the haircut, man? I got my first haircut today by a normal barber, and I don't know. It's kind of hit or miss for me. I'm kind of digging it, not digging it. Hopefully it'll grow out a little bit to where I can do a little something with it. But this is what I got right now. Here we go. The time I put myself into a wall locker, set that joker on fire, and hoped that I would be dead. Would you believe that was a real thought? If you're an alcoholic or an addict like me, then you can absolutely believe that. How did this all happen? Once, no. So there I was, a young soldier, feeling like I was on top of the world, living in Germany, and I thought that I had everything on lock and things were going my way. But I had one problem. I was still drinking just as hard as I was when I was a young private. Does that settle well with leadership? Nope, it doesn't. Me, I love girls. Let me put it this way. I loved women and women loved me for some reason. I don't know why. When I was drinking and always in my haze and my fog and everything else, somehow girls always came with it. Well, I ended up with who is my wife now, and she is an amazing woman. But at the time, she was and she's still hot, but she was a hot German who was all up into me, and I was like, yeah. So, where did that lead? It led to her coming to my room while I was on vacation, what is called leave in the Army, and I was also partying with a younger soldier who was seeing her girlfriend. So there's the four of us in my room on my vacation after hours. The problem came in is that I was a sergeant, and sergeants aren't supposed to hang out with lower enlisted people, and they're also not supposed to have people in the barracks after certain hours because of curfew and safety and everything else. There I was, having a good time, drinking like I normally do, hanging out with this hot German girl that I met. I get a knock on my door. It was the big man in charge, my first sergeant, and he's banging on the door and he's telling me to let him in and everything else. And I'm talking through the door because I'm drunk as hell, and I already know I'm wrong because I got these girls in here. Well, I put the girls in this other bathroom and everything else, and then I opened the door. The first sergeant said to me, "Hey, Sergeant, you got girls in here?" And immediately, because I thought I was a smart alcoholic, I looked around the room and I said, "Nope, I sure don't." And he looked at me and he said, "I'm gonna give you one more chance to tell me if you have girls in this room or not." Because it was already like 2 a.m. I think. And I also think he was creeping around in the windows or something, because there's no way for him to know other than that. About to tell another lie. And instead of that, I said, "Yep, they're in the bathroom." So he told me I had about an hour to get those girls out of there and to come down to the company area, and, you know, I have to see them. So I did that, and I got the girls off post and everything else, and then I went to see this man, and he told me I'm a piece of crap, I'm in trouble, I'm not a leader, and blah, blah, blah. I'm an alcoholic, folks, and I'm already drunk, so boof, my ego is immediately smashed. I feel like I'm nothing, I feel like I failed, and I feel like my little world just ended. And what does an alcoholic like me do when my little world just ends? I get fucked up. I drink more. And I did. I drank a whole lot more, and I know I shouldn't have, but I was at my wit's end and I couldn't deal with what was going on, even though I created the daggone mess. So I recall I was already in trouble, and that portion of the process has already passed, and I'm on extra duty, which is doing work after work because you fucked up. So there I am, I'm doing the work, and I don't know exactly what happened at the time, but I found myself inside this wall locker, and I don't know, I'm already drunk, and so it seemed like a good idea that I didn't have much going on. I wasn't really gonna progress anymore in my career because I've messed that up. What better to do than just kill myself, because I'm really tired of it, and I'm really tired of feeling like I'm nothing. And if you can relate to this, and you are having troubles of your own, and you are finding yourself thinking about suicidal thoughts and everything else, look, if you have to, call me. Drop me a DM, I'll throw you my phone number. If not, there are links below for the National Suicide Hotline, as well as Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous.orgs. You can hit those up for amazing resources, as well as recovery.org. It's a global thing, it's not just in the US. So with that out of the way, there I am, and I'm looking up at these clothes that are in here, and there's not much. It's a small wall locker, and so I just took a lighter and I lit everything in there on fire, because I already thought everything was over. Here I am in this wall locker that is blazing, and if anyone's ever seen like a firefighting video where a whole room is full of smoke and everything else, yeah, I was at the bottom of that. It was in that small moment that I felt a little bit of peace, and I was like, yes, this is finally it. I'm gonna step off of this roller coaster, and I'm gonna be free of it. Well, something other than myself said, you're not doing this, man. You're a freaking retard, and you can get through this, and you have much more to offer, and not everything is over. Believe it or not, those went through my head. Maybe not in those words, but they did. And so, by the skin of my teeth, I busted out of there. I don't know how I put that crap out, but I did. I think it was douses of water and everything else with cups and all this other stuff that I could find in my room, and a fire extinguisher, and I put it out. I didn't die that day, folks. One more quick story, because there are so many times where I should have died and where I should have been killed that it's just amazing that I haven't. I drank myself into seizures and to almost comas on multiple occasions, so I'm not even going to go into all that. I've suffered withdrawals and DTs, and trust me, folks, if you have not been there yet, try not to, because it's not fun, and hopefully it's an experience that you'll come back from if you do find yourself in those. And again, if you are suffering withdrawals or anything of that nature, go get medical treatment if you need it, and if not, seek out somebody who is sober to help you through your time, and throw me a line if you have to, because I'll be more than happy to help. I did get hit by a van once. That was pretty retarded, and if I offend anybody with retarded, I'll change my words in the future. I'm sorry, that's all I could think of. So there I was running along, right? I was drunk during this formation, which unfortunately was a lot of the time. I was drunk, I was running backwards, and I was trying to run out the alcohol. I was trying to motivate soldiers and everything else, and whoa, I got hit by this van. And thankfully I was drunk, because I was all relaxed and everything else. I didn't tense up, my body rolled, I got up and kept on running. Whatever. I rode a few cars. That is in my stories as well. One of the times that I can think of, I'm not going to go into all the details, as that's just going to waste an hour of your time. I was doing 120 miles an hour after leaving a bar. I'd been drinking and driving probably for 45 minutes already. I don't know why I'm doing 120 miles an hour down these farm roads here in Germany, because that is dangerous in itself. The streets aren't lit, you can't see much, and I remember I was listening to Pearl Jam, and I was listening to a song called Release, And if you've ever heard it, you know why it is so powerful. And if you haven't heard it, search it right now on YouTube, Pearl Jam Release. Put some headphones on, let it play, and just hear it. And that's what I was feeling, because I was in so much pain and grief. I just wanted to let the wheel go and see what would happen. And I did. But before I did, the right tire blew out in the front. And I remember the car dropping and pulling sharp to the right. And I kept the gas I kept the gas on anyway. And I was sending sparks down the road. I still couldn't see where I was going. And the car hooked into a ditch and it rolled over a few times. And I woke up. The car was sideways. I had to climb out the top of it, but I couldn't do it by myself because I was jammed in. And this German, for some reason, came out of nowhere. And this is where I believe in a higher power, because he pulled me out and he took me home. I didn't have not a single freaking scratch on me, folks. That is mind-blowing and unbelievable, and a testament that something was looking out for me, because I told you before, God looks after drunks and fools because we can't look after ourselves. This is one of the moments when I knew that what I was doing wasn't working anymore. The way I was living was destroying the little bit that I had left. My career, my wife, my son. Did I have my son at that time? No. But my girlfriend, yeah, I did. So my family, my career, my dignity, my credibility, my livelihood, all that was going out of the window. And what I was doing, drinking and self-medicating, just wasn't the solution anymore. Partying it up like I'm a big old private who's got everything on lock just wasn't the way it was. I was someone who was out of control, drinking to no end, and that was it. There was no more. And once I figured that out, that there was no more, and the solution was no longer in the bottom of that bottle, folks, I was able to see something different. I was able to see that if I ask for help, if I hand over, and not in full senses, but if I surrender my will and my life over to the care of the God as I choose, not the biblical one, not the Bible one, because that's not who I am. But I do believe in a spiritual entity greater than myself, and I do believe that there is something that looks after us when we can't do it by ourselves, and give us strength and hope when we don't have any, folks. And you heard me say that before. If you can relate to anything in this video and you've gotten a single shred of value out of it, hit that like button so we can keep this video in circulation. Also, take a chance, subscribe, because you may find something here that resonates with you from this 45-year-old man who drank for 23 years-ish plus and spent over $223,000. And that's just ballparking by rounding it off. I didn't even do all the small things. $223,000 on alcohol. And it jacked up my life. It didn't do anything good, and I didn't get any value from it, except the ability to deliver these messages to you. So if you've gotten anything from this, take a chance, subscribe. Once over to another, life's a garden, dig it. And guess what? I'm going to see you all in the next one. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.